Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to deal with a very peculiar problem which many people face while working in Excel. So let's say you have this list of products and here you have their quantity and the rate. Now if we have to calculate the total amount, which is quantity multiplied by rate, what we will do? We will just type equal to, we will select this particular cell, we will give a multiplication sign and then select this particular cell, right? And I'll just click on enter. Once I do it, you can see that my answer is 3720. But then again, once I come to my next cell, here also I need to calculate the total, which is quantity multiplied by rate. Now here I will not do it manually, right? There is a trick which is known as relative referencing in Excel, and we will leverage that particular trick to write this particular formula across all the cells. Similarly, let's say if we need to calculate the GST, which is 18%. So what I will do is I'll just type equal to, select this particular cell, which is the total amount, multiplied by the GST rate, which is 18%. And I will click on enter. You can see that I'm getting the GST amount is 670. But once I drag it down, you can see that my referencing is getting changed. Here in this cell, the rate is not written. That's the reason we are not getting the answer. Again, here we need to do something to our cell referencing. Then only we will get the correct answer. Let's see one more problem case which can be solved using mixed referencing. Let's say here we have the list of rows which has some numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we have list of columns which has again the same numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say if we need to calculate a grid over here, like in this particular cell it should be 1 multiplied by 1, in this particular cell it should be 2 multiplied by 1, in this particular cell it should be 3 multiplied by 1, so on and so forth. This is how I need to create a grid. But once I do equal, and if I multiply 1 multiplied by 1 and I click on enter, I'm getting the right answer, right? But once I'll drag it to my right, you can see that over here particularly, it should be 3 multiplied by 1. Answer should be 3, but we are getting the answer as 6. Reason being that relative referencing is coming into picture. That's the reason we are not getting the correct answer. So these are the three problem cases which are very common if you have just started your Excel journey, or even if you have been using Excel from quite some time. But these are some of the peculiar problems which people usually face while they're working in Excel. So today we are going to learn how we can crack all of these problems at a go, and we will also learn some of the hidden tips and tricks which many people don't know about. So let's get started. Before that, guys, this is video 2 of my series Excel for Finance Professional. I've already uploaded video 1 wherein I have given you the brief about Excel and I've explained some of the settings which you need to change in your Excel workbook in order to make sure that your Excel works efficiently. So make sure you watch that particular video before watching this video. I'll drop the link to that particular video in the I button, so make sure to check that out. So coming to our first problem, in the first problem what we were doing is, we were doing multiplication of quantity and rate, and once we are getting the right answer, which is 3720. But let's say if for the below cells also, if we have to get the same answer or replicate the same formula, then how can we do it? So basically in Excel there is a concept of relative referencing. So what is the meaning of relative referencing? So whenever we write a particular cell referencing or the name of a particular cell on your Excel workbook, let's say if I'm writing the cell A1, let's say if I'm writing cell A1, so whatever is written in cell A1, that will get replicated over here. So in cell A1 it is written relative referencing. That's the reason it is getting replicated over here. But let's say if I drag this particular formula down, if I'm dragging this particular formula cell down, you can see that this A1 is getting changed to A2. So in Excel, there is a very smart feature which is there. So as you drag a particular formula to down, automatically your row number will start increasing one by one. Let's say here what I've done is I've just dragged it to one cell down. That's the reason I'm getting A1 over here and I'm getting A2 over here. So automatically my cell referencing A1 got changed to A2 because I dragged it to one cell down. Now what will happen if I drag it to one cell right? I think you must have guessed it correctly. It will increase one column. Like here it was A1, right? Here it is changing to B1. Now once I drag it to my right, it will again increase to C1. So this is how Excel operates. And this is how what we will learn in this particular video is how we can leverage this particular feature of Excel into our day-to-day life and how we can use this particular feature to make our work very, very easy. So what I will do over here is I will not type formula across all these cells. What I will simply do is I'll just come over here and automatically a plus sign will get visible. I hope you are able to see the screen. Automatically here you can see that I've just put my cursor on the bottom right hand side of the particular cell and a black plus sign will appear. I'll just double click on that plus sign. Automatically my flash fill will come into picture and the particular formula will get replicated to all the cells. Now see how Excel has done the magic. I've just written formula in a single cell and automatically the same formula has been replicated across all the cells. So here it was B3 multiplied by C3. I have dragged it to a cell down. So it is changing to B4 multiplied by C4. It is again coming to a cell down. It is getting changed to B5 multiplied by C5. So this is how relative referencing works. Needless to say that if you drag it to your right, automatically your column number will increase instead of your row number. So this is how relative referencing works in Excel. I hope you guys are now comfortable with the concept of relative referencing. I will also drop in this particular Excel file in the description. You can just go to the description and you can download the particular file and you can practice along with me. Now let's learn about absolute referencing. So if you'll recall, during the start of the video, what we were doing is we were calculating the GST amount. So how can we calculate the GST amount? I'll just multiply the total with the GST rate and I will get the GST amount, which is 670 rupees. But do you know what will happen? If we'll drag it down, relative referencing will come into picture and automatically you can see that previously it was multiplying it with cell F3, which is this 18% rate. But once I came to a cell down, relative referencing kicked in and the F3 got changed to F4. I don't want it to change. In this time, I don't want it to change. I want it to remain constant at 18%. So what I will do is, I'll just add a dollar before 3. Why am I adding a dollar before 3? Reason being because I want to freeze this row number 3. So if I'll freeze this row number 3, no matter to how many cells I'll drag this particular formula, our row number 3 will not change and it will remain constant across all the cells. I'll show you how. So here I have added a dollar before 3. I'll just drag it down to my lastmost cell and you can see automatically I'm getting the correct GST amount. If you'll just go to the formula editor mode using the F2 key on your keyboard, you'll be able to see that my F3 is not changing. My row number 3 is constant. Reason being because I've simply added a dollar sign before 3. This is the only shortcut which you need to know. This is the only trick which you need to know if you need to freeze a particular row in Excel. Similarly, let's say if I need to freeze F column also. Right now, we don't actually need to freeze F column because we are not dragging it to my right hand side. But let's say if you're dragging your particular cell to your right hand side also, in that case, we will need to freeze the F column also. Again, what I will do is I'll just add a dollar before F. That's it. I'll just double click over here. Automatically the formula will get replicated and here you can see that the dollar sign has been inserted before F also. Now once I drag it to my right also, you can see that my F3 is not changing. Again, E3 will definitely change because I had not frozen column number D, but you can see that F3 is not changing. If you want D3 to also remain constant, what you can do is again you can add a dollar before D, click on enter. Now just drag this cell to your right. Now you can see that my 670 is remaining constant and it is now multiplying D3 with F3. So 3720 multiplied by 18% is 670 rupees, which is your GST amount. I hope absolute referencing is also clear to you. Although do you know, while I was explaining you absolute referencing, I have already introduced the concept of mixed referencing in picture. So mixed referencing is nothing, but it is a combination of relative referencing and absolute referencing. Let's understand with the help of a very simple example. So here we have this table, we have this grid. So what we need to do is, we need to multiply each respective column with each respective row number. Like here in this particular cell, I need to get 1 multiplied by 1. In this particular cell, I need to get 4 multiplied by 4. This is how I need to fill my particular formula in a way that I'll just write my formula once. Yes, I'll just write my formula once and the same formula, I'll drag it to my right and I will drag it to my bottom. Automatically our entire cells will get filled up with the correct answer. I'll show you how. So first what I will do is I'll just type equal 1 multiplied by 1. This is right, 1 multiplied by 1. So now just try to understand. There is a very simple concept which is there, and there is a very simple trick also which is there, which I am going to explain it to you. So make sure that you are very attentive in this particular section. So what you need to do is, if you are unsure where to apply dollar, what you need to do is just drag this particular formula to your right. Don't apply dollar anywhere. Just drag it to your right and see what is changing. Right now you can see that your K2 cell referencing is correct, because here I want K2 multiplied by I3. I3 is basically 1. So my K2 is remaining constant. But here you can see that my I3 is getting changed to J3. Reason being, I am dragging this particular formula on my right hand side. So what I will do is, I will freeze I. So this is the one hint which I have got by making this particular mistake. In Excel, be very open and make sure you make as many mistakes as possible, because if you'll start making mistake during your early career, then only you will be able to ace Excel, then only you will be able to debug all the errors which you will be getting in future. So what I have done is, I had made an error. I have decoded the error that okay, I need to freeze I3 because I3 is getting changed to J3 once I am dragging it to my right. So I'll click on enter. Now once I'll drag it to my right, I can see that I'm getting a correct cell referencing. But I'll again check whether the same thing works if I'll drag this particular formula to down. So I will drag this particular formula cell down. You can see that what is the output we are getting. The output which we are getting is J3 multiplied by I4. So in this case, ideally it should be J2, but J2 is getting changed to J3, right? Because we need to multiply J2 multiplied by I4. So I4 is correct, but this J3 cell referencing is incorrect. That's the reason what we need to do is, now one more thing which we need to do is, we need to apply dollar before 2 also. If we'll apply dollar before 2, what we are doing is, we are freezing row number 2 and here we are freezing column number I. Now, once I'll drag it down and once I'll drag it to my right, you can see that I just wrote a single formula and I applied dollar at 2 places. Bus, that's it. That's what I have done. And I have just dragged this particular formula to my right and to my bottom. Automatically, you can see that on each of these cells, you're getting the correct answer. That's the beauty of mixed referencing in Excel. So guys, it is very simple. Only trick is that make sure that you write your perfect formula and then just drag it to your right or drag it to your bottom and see which all cell referencings are getting changed. Make sure that you write it down in a notepad that okay, you need to freeze I column, you need to freeze third row, you need to freeze fourth row, so on and so forth. And then apply dollar before all of the rows and columns in your original formula and then drag that original formula to your bottom and to your right. You will get the correct answer each and every time. So that's all in this video guys. This was all about referencing in Excel. I'm pretty sure you must have loved this video. So if you have actually loved this video, don't forget to drop a like and do subscribe to this channel, because I'll be coming with such insights and such Excel tricks for finance professionals. Thank you so much for your time. This is Rajat signing off.